just feel the thrill. That's the host, he's got the skill. Heroes for Hire's the name. Comic joy's our only aim. Weekly mail call can't be beat. Comic reviews extra sweet. Tune in, folks, and don't be late. Interviews that sure are great. From Kentucky's rolling hills we stream. Matt delivers every fan's dream. Claim your favorites, join the quest. Heroes for Hire are the best. Superheroes, villains too. Every issue something new. Golden age or modern finds. Entertaining minds of all kinds. Comic book sales you can claim. Join the club, win comic fame. Hear the stories, catch the vibe. Heroes for Hire feels alive. From Kentucky.
Hello. We got to stop meeting like this. Welcome back to the Heroes for Hire Comic Club channel. I'm Matt, as always. This is episode 13, Comic Conversations, where I interview another YouTuber who does a YouTube channel about comics. Well, I guess there's an easier way to say that, but it'll be all right. Well, I'm not going to waste any time bringing him out. This is my friend, one of my new friends, Bruce from Kingdom of Nerds. Bruce, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. Just I don't know. Just doing another day, another YouTube stream. You know how it is for me.
Yeah, I don't know where you find the energy to be on so many streams.
Well, I don't know. It's something to do. Let's just put it that way. It's something to do. I don't get out much these days, but especially in the winter time. But we got Legion of Comics is here. Hey, how you doing, Mark? Legion? Good to see you. Well, I'm sure there'll be some people coming in. They can watch on the replay.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't want to watch it right now, so okay. We'll just start out like this. All right. Well, Bub's here too.
Hey, Bob.
Matt's got a lot of it. Yeah, well, I try. I guess people like me. I guess I did good when I was read that book, How to Make Friends and Influence People. I don't know. I doubt it. I never read that book.
I think I read the same book.
Okay. Well, okay, Bruce, let's just get right into it, I guess.
Sure.
First question I ask everybody. I call it my James Lipton Inside the Actor Studio list of questions. What is your origin story in comic collecting? How did you get into collecting comics?
Well, to start, I grew up in a small town called Brooklyn, New York. And my parents read a lot of books, so my mother was always taking me, my brothers and my sister to bookstores. Yeah. And I was probably like 9, so it was like 84, 85. And they had like a whole section of like used comic books. So I begged my mother to buy me used comic books. So I had like a stack of 10, and it was just like Teen Titans, X-Men, Spider-Man, Avengers, Fantastic Four. And from there I was hooked. I loved Teen Titans, and I went back as an adult and bought like the whole run of Teen Titans, the George Perez. So that's pretty much I love to read, and reading comics is part of it.
Oh yeah, well, I kind of got in like my dad would bring me some back, when he would go away and then he'd come back, and so it seemed like there was always comic books around or some kind of book, didn't necessarily have to have pictures in it, but okay. So when did you get into, like, I guess I know you got into, did you get into collecting them then, or were you just like me reading them? Back then I didn't really care about the condition, you know what I mean?
I started collecting seriously probably junior high school, probably 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And going because there was a couple of comic book stores in my neighborhood, so I was constantly in them, being one of my nerdy friends. I was the only one that was reading comic books. I was the big nerd geek, whatever. I didn't care. And then when I went to high school, I was just every all the allowance I got went to pretty much comic books and video games. So I started collecting, and my collection has grown to about 25,000 comics, maybe.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. They collected a long time.
Well, what was some of your favorite comic series when you were growing up? You like to read, or maybe a particular story arc or something.
Well, one of my favorite story arcs as a kid was Inferno, the X-Men.
Oh yeah.
Mr. Sinister and Madeline Pride as the Goblin Queen, and then having the X-Men realize Jean Grey was alive and she was an X Factor, and X Factor was hunting mutants allegedly. That story was one of my favorites. The Judas contract, and
Oh yeah.
That story was deep. If you're looking back now, that story was so wrong, so wrong.
Oh yeah, like he's manipulating this young girl who's in love with him.
Yeah,
what stroke is, and she betrays the. Yeah,
let's try to put a teenage girl under the age of 18 in a comic book in lingerie, smoking a cigarette nowadays. See what happens.
Well, you won't be drawing comic books, at least not for DC or Marvel. That's for sure.
No.
Probably not anybody.
I think that's Power Hour or one of those books.
Hey Joe, how you doing?
Hey Joe. Oh, speaking of books that Joe collects, Power Hour and Shikari.
I remember that. I've seen those before. Well, like, oh yeah, well, like, I mean, leave it to like Marv Wolfman to come up with some writing some crazy storylines for like a book about a bunch of teenage superheroes. That's about like I don't know, but I think you two wrote that right.
With Marv Wolfman's writing and George Perez art was perfect. It was perfect. Teen Titans was perfect.
It was like peanut butter and jelly. They just went together like real well. It's kind of like Frank Miller and Klaus Janson. Yeah. I don't know. You can see a difference in Frank's art when he didn't have Klaus with him. But although I'll still argue this. I was looking at The Dark Knight Returns again, revisited it, and I don't see much difference
from Frank Miller's art and Dark Knight Returns till now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you look at some of the pictures, like the ones that aren't as detailed, I mean, it kind of was like going that way anyway. Is what I meant. Like I don't know, when he got on his own, he didn't have to do the Marvel House style. He started kind of getting crazy.
I don't know. I've never been a fan of Frank Miller's art. I know a lot of people are, but I wasn't a fan of his art.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing I like about this issue. Look here, we got Joe says, "I don't collect Power Hour. My smut is exquisitely curated."
He does have
as well. It should be
high cultured smut,
aristocratic smut, if you will.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. The kind you have to drink. Your tea. You drink tea while you're reading it with your pinky out. All right, let's see. Okay, why did you start? Did you decide to look? That's what I just did one day. I said, look, I keep making excuses why I can't do a YouTube channel, but I finally just decided to start recording videos and see what happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when was that point for you where you're like, you know what, I should start making some videos and put them on YouTube and talk about comic books?
Well, up until COVID, I had no idea that people actually talked about comic books on YouTube or
me neither.
And I guess it started. I was watching YouTube channels during COVID. And then towards the end of COVID, I found Movie Madness Entertainment. And Max, one of my good friends, he does this show on Sundays where he allows members to come on the show and talk. So I went on the show and I became a regular on the show. And then one of the guys on the show, Brian, Master of None, he was like, dude, you're really good at this. You should start a channel. It's like people like you. I'm like, nah, I can't do it. So I procrastinated a bit. I became friends with Kyle from Renovision, and I ended up on Renovision on SNS with the guys over there having fun. And then summer, year before last, I met up with most of the guys from Renovision, and at that point I had decided to like start a channel. And it was so weird because I did Monday nights and it was like a 3-hour show. It was like a combination of movies and comics.
Mm-hmm.
So it was, it was hard. So I decided, it was like, let me break this up. I'll do movie talk on Mondays and comic talk on, what was it? Fridays.
Yeah.
And Fridays was too crowded at the time. So I was like, let me switch it to Sundays. So I've been doing, my channel will be up and running. July will make 2 years. Yeah. So 2 years I've been doing this YouTube stuff. It was hard at first. My first 10 shows were probably really bad. You get nervous being in front of the camera talking to random strangers that you don't know who they are or whatever. And it's YouTube. You make a mistake, somebody will clip it out and it lives with you forever.
Yeah, there's probably a few out there of mine that I don't know about, but I'm blissfully unaware, so I don't care if there is.
Yeah.
I'm sure that I don't know. My always thing is that somebody's gonna be negative. I had somebody do that the other day and I don't know, they were like some kind of comment like, that's great. That's what I really needed to see in a YouTube short was 2 old white guys talking about comic books. So I said, well, I guess the night was your lucky night then. And they said, they replied back, I was being sarcastic. I said, oh, I know, I was too.
Yeah.
So you just have to handle people like that. It don't matter.
Yeah, I've come under fire on being on YouTube on a few times. I've learned to ignore it and realize, if they're talking about you, you're relevant, because when they stop talking about you, you're doing something wrong. But I was doing YouTube. I was streaming like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Sundays. I was six days a week at one point. It was becoming, you get drained, you get tired, and you run out of stuff to talk about. So I think I found the perfect balance. Monday show, Tuesday afternoon show, Friday show with Renovision doing the qualifier with Joe and Jedi, who are in the audience for some reason. And my Sunday show where we talk comics and FOC and news. And I just did a really good show this week in tariffs, but that seems there's not going to be in tariffs. So don't worry about your comic book prices.
Well, at least not for a while until.
Yeah, at least for a month.
And until something else pisses somebody off, I don't know. But so what are some of your favorite things about doing a YouTube channel? I know, speaking for myself, it was getting to meet other people that like comics. I really don't know anybody locally that really collects comics. So if I tell them like, hey, I just got the first appearance of Forge in a high grade, they'll be like, what's a Forge? You know what I mean? I live in Kentucky too, so it's like a few and far between. I mean, the only shops we have, like sell magic cards basically. They have like a bunch of old comics, sitting in the corner for $1. They don't really get new inventory. Even the closest actual comic shop to me is like 40 minutes away. So
My comic book shop is literally 5 minutes down the road, but
Oh, that's
it's
awesome.
one of those comic book shops where it hasn't been updated in like 30 years.
Yeah.
The owner's grouchy. It smells. The books are hardly. Oh, the back issue bins are filthy. The bags are filthy. A lot of books aren't in bags. They don't order anything past a B cover. You know, they don't get
Okay.
incentives, ratios. Their wall books are
Old school.
overpriced. So then my nearest comic shop is probably an hour away. So I do love talking to people about comic books and reading comic books every week and recommending stories and books that the typical reader probably wouldn't pick up on their own. And it feels like
Yeah.
for me, every time I do a stream, it's just like I'm inviting people into my home and we're sitting around just talking about comic books with your friends. So that and meeting really cool people because last year I got to meet a lot of cool YouTubers at Baltimore Comic Con and so much fun. And we set up a table, Renovision table, and I handed out 200, maybe 250 comic books to kids for free and people that were interested in comic books, just to see the smile on kids' faces and adults that
Mhm.
probably would never have read a Transformers My Little Pony book crossover or for some reason I had a lot of pony books in my collection. I don't know why, but don't judge me.
Oh, no judging here. Like Joe said, look, a Ford, is that a Dodge with a Ford engine shoehorned into the hood? I don't know, but I guess you could call it that.
We're talking about X-Men. Joe's not an X-Men guy.
Okay. Best thing to do is don't chase. Yeah, I don't. I just put out videos. If somebody likes it, they like it. I don't really
Yep.
care if I get paid or not at this point. I sell comic books on here, so I just let that do that for me. And I just like
Yeah.
I've got 200 some subscribers, 270 something
Nice.
last time I checked, and like just let it do a steady thing. I haven't got anything that's going to get 5,000 views, and I really don't try to do anything to get.
Mhm.
If something happens one day that happens, that's cool. But I'm not going to sit here and worry about it. I just, as you can tell, I enjoy being online. I
Yeah.
used to not want to show my face, but I think a lot of YouTubers start out
Yeah,
like
I
that.
didn't show my face for my first few streams. I wouldn't show my face, but I, being that well, I couldn't show my face because at the time I wasn't retired, and I used to work in law enforcement. So now that I'm
Oh,
retired, I can show my face
okay.
and do anything I want and say whatever I want and won't have it come back to me.
That's probably a smart thing if you're in
Yeah.
in that kind of a business or that kind of job. You
Mhm.
probably best not to be out public. Like some of these people though, you see them, you're like, man, somebody really needs to take their social media away from them.
I see quite a few people like that. It's funny because
Man,
I, my first couple of months, you get discouraged because you don't have a lot of people watching. You get a lot of
yeah,
subs in the beginning, then it just stops and it slows down, and it makes you want to give up. But at the same time, I love talking about comics, and I'm glad I didn't give up and kept going because I met some amazing people and talked to amazing viewers that watch my shows. So that's pretty cool. And I wouldn't
yeah,
never
so,
have got to be on stream with Mark Spears, which
yeah.
is awesome because he's
Twice,
a fellow
3 times or twice.
1, 2, 3, maybe
Yeah,
4, 3 or 4. And being that he's from Alabama, my mother's from Alabama. So, we had a lot of common talking backstage. He's a great guy. Um, you know, I hate interviews. I used to hate interviews and talking. I'm like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to interview anybody about? But it becomes easier the more you do it.
Oh yeah, I've never had a problem with talking. It's just I was almost kind of weirded out about the camera aspect, but like I was on Whatnot for a while, and I quit selling on there. But it did make me go, well, I could do this. I've been on camera doing that. So
Yeah.
what AR says here, he says if you mess up and run your mouth on social media, you can just make a new account like me, Roseanne Barr.
Oh my God, I love you, Roseanne.
Okay, Roseanne, I didn't know that was you, but all right. I never did like Tom Arnold. I'll just let you.
Oh my God, Roseanne, will you sing my intro for me?
Yes, please. No, rap it with that. Unless you got a new rap.
Yes, rap it with the Canadian guy.
Yeah, and Joe's like, it's the slow start's a good thing. It gives you time to refine. Yeah, that's what's happened with me. Is like I've learned how to like actually share the screen and actually read the chat at the same time. Like you just have to switch over real quick. It's what I do, or I'll put it in a different window so I can still see like because you can show previews and share the screen of like Key Collector or whatever app you want to or whatever screen you want.
Yeah.
But if you're not really picking up on what the chat's saying at the same time, it throws everything off, and then you're like going back. You know what I mean? Like you're on like the fifth different topic while you're showing that screen, and you have to go back and look at the first thing you talked about in the comments.
Yeah. The thing about that is I have a couple of trusted people I have on my show. So they have access to the StreamYard, so they're able to highlight stuff while I'm talking and doing slides and navigating stuff. So it takes a lot of the burden off of me when I'm doing a show, you know. So, and it's hard when you're doing a show and you're the only one that has control over StreamYard. You know, you got to go to the bathroom. Just like you guys just continue to talk. I'll be back.
Talk amongst yourselves.
Pretty much.
The Franco-German War was neither Franco or German. Discuss.
Yeah. You know, one thing I did get good advice was if you're doing a stream and you're in the middle of a good topic, good segment, don't stop what you're doing to read the chat. You know, just highlight the chat as you're talking. Put it up for maybe 3 seconds, the comments, and start a comments you want to get back to, you know, later on.
I try to do that. If there's like, you got to wait till there's like a lull in the conversation before you like maybe want to highlight something. you two for bull. Okay. Well, I don't know, that one kind of threw me for a loop, but that's all right. I got we'll go to another question. Sure. Who are a few of your favorite artists and writers, current or in the past, or both?
Let's see. Nick Hardy, Neil Adams, George Perez, let's see, Wade Snyder, and newer artists, Suspiria, Spears, God, I can't even think of his name. He writes he draws Justice League.
Oh,
Mora, Dan Mora.
Dan Mora, yeah.
There's so many good artists and good writers. It's insane. It's like for me, it's like a golden age of writers and artists. You know, back in the day, there was probably like a handful of artists and writers that you could depend on for good stories. Now there's so many books and so many good stories out there. You know, all people have to do is just pick up a book and open it instead of just buying covers. Read your books, guys. Read your books.
You can do both, but try to read them too.
Yes.
It's okay to like get something like we were talking about. I got that Savage Tales. I mean, I got it for the cover, but I will read it, but still.
Yep.
You know, the cover can be a positive thing. I mean, it can like maybe you could attract somebody to it. It's like a cool like packaging for a game or a toy. If the
Yeah.
packaging looks cooler, you're probably more likely to pick it up. Maybe take it, put it in your shopping cart or something.
How can I leave out Tom King? He's doing wonders for Wonder Woman, and he's just such a good writer. It's amazing how many stories that man has in his head.
Yeah, well, he's kind of like the Stephen King. He keeps coming out with different, like James Tinian's like that too. Like
Tinian, Tinian's the same way.
How many books can you write at one time? Or like, is it Mark Waid? Yeah, I mean they got him doing all the heavy lifting at DC right now, basically, or most of it.
Yeah, he's doing World's Finest. He's doing Justice League. The two of the biggest sellers at DC right now.
And I don't know if you like him or not, but I assume you do. If you like Transformer stuff, Daniel Warren Johnson.
Oh yes, Daniel Warren Johnson.
He's like a dual threat.
Yeah,
he can write and do it. And he always works with is it Mike Spicer, who I kind of like the way I think he's the colorist. I could be mistaken, but I think he's the colorist.
Yeah, when a writer has an artist and a colorist that can bring to life their words to a visual, and it all melds and works together, you get a beautiful story, you get great art, and it's just like when you used to read comics as a kid. It was like you were part of the story. You felt like you were in New York, upstate, in a mansion with the X-Men.
Yeah, it's I don't know, like there's just so many artists. Like that's why I tell people like that complain about new books.
Mm-hmm.
If you look hard enough, you will find something. It's not necessarily going to be the big two that we all know.
Yeah,
but the Image Skybound thing is doing really great. With that new imprint, the Ghost Machine thing, I can't say enough. Great thing about Jeff Johns. Talk about a busy man. He's like writing 4 different books.
You got all the stuff at Boom. You got the Dynamite stuff, all the 80s properties over there.
Look, the only complaint I have about Dynamite and Boom sometimes is you'll look at the book and there'll be like, especially with like the Thundercats book, there'll be like 30 variants every week. Or some of them are just color change variants.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how many trees had to die to make this issue?
Yeah, we were talking about, me and my friends were talking about this off stream one day. We were just like, how does Dynamite stay afloat printing so many covers for a single issue? I think it was week before last. There was hardly any DC or Marvel books released that week, but somehow Dynamite had 131 covers.
My God.
It was 131 Dynamite covers released in that week between Thundercats, Silverhawk, what else? Vampirella. Those big books had like 100 and some variants. It was insane.
Red Sonja.
Oh, Red Sonja, yeah.
Usually.
Silverhawks had what? It was almost 50 covers for Silverhawks? Something like that?
Yeah, it's something crazy. But like,
the
other thing that I don't know, it's just, have you noticed? Okay, this is one thing. You ever notice this? You can tell when a book's not going as well, or like the series is not selling as well when you look after about 3 weeks and there's only 2 variants for that book anymore. You know what I mean? Or there's nothing.
What's that series they just started? I Lie Popeye. There's only like 1 variant now. There's 4 or 5 variants to issue now. There's like 1 variant.
Yeah, they've done that with a few. I think even I think I noticed like West Coast Avengers or one of those only had like 3 last week. I said, well, something's going on. Although I just couldn't get into it. There was a series about 5 years ago they did. I think it's the one that has the first appearance of Jeff the Shark in it. That West Coast Avengers. I liked it all right. It was kind of like a quirky, like little book, it kind of reminded me of that Great Lake Avengers, which was a very weird book.
Great Lake Adventures. Oh my
God.
God.
Like, what is this about? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes you need those quirky, fun books to mix it up. You can't have serious.
Have you ever read JLA Classified?
No.
They had this. It was like the early 2000s, and J.M. DeMatteis and I can't remember who else was it. Grant Morrison were both. They eventually both wrote on it, and I think this was the DeMatteis did this one. It was like, I can't believe it's not the Justice League, and it was like Guy Gardner and a bunch of C-list like heroes, and like Fire and Ice and Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and they all are at each other's throats, and they get stuck in purgatory. Booster Gold and Blue Beetle are stuck in purgatory selling fast food to demons. It's like the craziest.
That sounds hilarious.
Yeah, they do have a Herculoids. Like Sandman's looking at that. They said there's a. I'm excited for the Herculoid. Yeah, I was watching reruns of that last night. Yeah, let's go. And my friend Aaron has that one. All right, I'm kind of derailing everything, but
it's fine. That's what streams are made for.
Yeah. Yeah, Thundar. It's going to be. I can't wait for Thundar the Barbarian. I used to watch that every Saturday morning.
I have it on DVD somewhere, and I keep saying I'm going to rewatch it, and I keep forgetting to open it.
Well, that's a good question. What are some of your favorite Saturday morning cartoons when you were growing up to watch when you'd get up on a Saturday with your bowl of Fruity Pebbles or Captain Crunch or whatever cereal you ate?
It was God, I hated Captain Crunch. My mother always bought Captain Goddamn Crunch. Captain Crunch ruined your top of your mouth, damn it.
Oh, it does. It hurts it's like a Lego on the bottom of your foot stepping on it. It's on the roof of your mouth.
Let me see. I used to watch Dungeons and Dragons, The Littles.
Yes.
Biscuits? The little bears on that were dressed like knights or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. The problem is so many cartoons came on during the week, you get them mixed up now. What else? Silverhawks. Well, I just say in general cartoons. Silverhawks, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Transformers, Dragon Ball, Glowworm.
I remember that. Snorks.
Snorks, yes. They were underwater Smurfs. Oh, Smurfs.
Yeah. We were watching today, and I forgot about it. I watched old compilations of old Hanna-Barbera or like ABC Saturday morning or NBC, and they had Fonz and the Happy Days game.
Fonz and the Happy
with a little dog. It's Fonzie's dog, right? And they're traveling through time trying to get back to 1958 Milwaukee.
I've never seen that a day in my life.
It's insane, and they're in like a little flying saucer thing. I'm like, how many drugs were these executives doing in the room? They said, I know what we'll do. We'll have Fonzie and Richie and Ralph Malph travel through time with their dog companion and a time traveling girl. I don't know. I just don't know. But,
and watching reruns of Thundar, Space Ghost, Herculoids,
Space
Jetsons, Flintstones, all Scooby. I watched them all. Those are newcomers
when it comes to the.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, Space Ghost, Silverhawks, Herculoids. Do you remember Defenders of the Earth?
Yes,
like Flash Gordon and
the Shadow.
Yeah,
yes. They just they did a comic with them not so long. It wasn't very good.
Oh, okay.
It was not good.
I wanted to get the new Flash Gordon, but I didn't get it when it came out, and I don't know. I've heard It was pretty good though. There's like a new
Yeah,
Flash
Flash
Gordon
Gordon. I
book.
have Flash Gordon somewhere around here.
I wanted to get the one that had the movie variant though. I'm gonna have to go back and get that one.
Oh,
It's got like
you know,
Sam
and
Jones on it.
as I got older, you know, cartoons became Saved by the Bell, California Dreams, and then I got into anime when I got into high school. So
Yeah. Well, there's another
It's
good
true.
question. Your favorite animes?
Favorite animes. If we were on my channel, big Lords of Brooklyn would be yelling at me. Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, Inuyasha, Demon Slayer, Jujutsu Kaisen. I pretty much could watch anything. I love anime, and I am an anime purist. I will not watch anime unless there is original Japanese with subtitles. Screw you guys that needs dubs, all right?
I'll watch it either way. I don't care, honestly. But
Yeah.
I grew up. The first one I remember very clearly was Akira, and I didn't really. I wasn't used to cartoon animation like that. I'm like,
Mhm.
what is this? And it kind of blew my mind. And then my cousin introduced me to like Fist of the North Star and Vampire Hunter D,
Oh, I love
and
Vampire Hunter D.
Ninja Scroll, which is just dope as hell.
You ever seen Wicked City?
No, I don't think I
You
have.
should watch Wicked
My
City.
cousin's nodding his head. He saw it. He's over here next to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch Wicked City in front of your parents or kids.
Yeah. Oh, I'll
Don't
tell you
do
the
it.
ones I love too were the old like heavy metal, like Canadian.
Oh yeah,
I think,
yeah.
and Fire and Ice. They did one that
Yeah.
looked like a Frank Frazetta painting came
Yeah.
to life.
Oh, I love that.
It's just amazing.
There was so many adult cartoons. Like one of my favorites was Secret of Nymph. I don't know if you ever saw that, but it's funny. You think back that we were watching Japanese animation when we were kids. Robotech, Voltron, Star Blazer. There was so many Japanese cartoons on TV at the time when I was a kid. So,
well, I keep asking people if they remember one that I it's not an anime, but there was a show that used to come on Nickelodeon when I was like 8 or 9, maybe 7 or 8 years old, called Belle and Sebastian.
oh, never.
And
saw
he
that.
had like this little dog with him, like it was like a Saint Bernard, like one of those rescue dogs.
Mhm.
That wears the barrel on his neck. It was almost like 10 or something. I've always asked people, they just never remember it. I'm the only one that remembers it for some reason. Maybe it's the Mandela effect. Maybe I imagined it or something. Sometimes I
Could be.
feel like it's like how they swear that Sinbad did that one movie, right? Sinbad was supposed
Sinbad.
to be the genie in that Shaq movie, but they
Everybody thinks it was Shazam or something.
yeah. But yeah, somebody said Ghost of the Machine a minute ago.
Yeah,
And,
Ghost of the Machine. What's another good one? Demon City Shinjuku. That's a really good anime movie.
Oh, I know what I was going to highlight here was he said Sam Jones Flash Gordon was epic. Yes, he was, but I think I had early onset puberty because of Princess Aura. The girl that played Princess Aura. Oh my Lord, have mercy! I'm telling you right now. All right. Anyway,
Joe said he vaguely remembers Belle and Sebastian.
vaguely remember. I'm gonna look.
There you go. You weren't imagining it. Joe remembers
right.
also.
There we go. Maybe we just had a shared hallucination, even though we don't know never met each other in real life. But okay.
Are you currently watching any animes now?
No, not right now. But I'm getting ready to start catching up on the Castlevania one. Does that count as anime?
The Castlevania one is so good, so good.
And I want to start the Godzilla one that they have on Netflix.
I was disappointed in it. I was so disappointed.
Were you? Oh, I don't like to hear that.
Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, I didn't like the animation for it.
Yeah. Ninja Scroll parts. Or is that? Yeah. Well, I think I think Sandman's a big fan of anime. With all the excitement in the chat.
I was thinking about doing.
Okay. Well,
anime show.
Hey, I'm doing the. I'm the one. I'm like you though. I was like, I can't just. I don't want to talk about comics anymore. I know I got a show coming out about movies. So, but
Yeah,
just back on steer back on comics just for a second.
sure.
Because we kind of just go wherever I feel like going. I mean, like
Yeah.
we talk about one thing, it leads into another. That's the way I like to do it. But what are some of your favorite characters to collect? Like, I collect Captain America and Wolverine and G.I. Joe, just to name a few, and X-Men. But what are any like in particular series or
Uh,
characters you like to go collect?
um, I still even though I didn't like Krakoa, I still collected the X-Men. I will always collect the X-Men. Batman. Um, what else? Spider-Man. I'm a big Aquaman fan, so I was happy when a new Aquaman title came out. Titans, Superman. I'm more of a I used to be a huge Marvel fan. Everything was Marvel. Then as I got older, I moved to DC. So if, if DC puts out a book, I'll usually pick it up and read it. And anything like Joe says, also any character with magic, because I love magic. I love sci-fi, so I will pick up Challengers of the Unknown when I see it in the wild. I'll pick up some horror was it House of Mysteries. It depends. I do love superheroes, but at the same time I love sci-fi horror also. So
Oh, there's nothing. I mean, well, if you just read superheroes, it'd be kind of boring, I guess,
yeah.
after a while. I mean, I do collect, I guess, primarily that, but like, I think that's what I liked about the X-Men. It wasn't always just superhero. I mean, I know they had powers, but like especially when Chris Claremont wrote it, it had a
Mhm.
personal story to it. Like I could, I don't think that Rogue and Wolverine would be the characters they are today and as popular if
Mhm.
Chris Claremont like hadn't worked. It's like a very complicated history. Like Rogue was a villain,
Yes.
and she beat like every one of the Avengers up and the X-Men up in her first appearance. And then she joined, and she was like the fish out of water. Nobody wanted her on the X-Men,
Yep. Nobody
and
trusted her.
yeah, and finally, it took her risking her life and saving Wolverine where he started trusting her. And it was kind of like once she got him, and Wolverine, he was real gruff, didn't like anybody, very standoffish. He was
Mhm.
kind of a one-dimensional character when he first entered comic books. But Chris Claremont got a hold of it, and I could go on about Chris Claremont.
I will say this: my favorite X-Men. I will have pushback from Joe and a few others in the chat. It will always be Cyclops. Cyclops will always be my favorite Summers brother. He is the best Summers brother. So screw you, Joe.
Well, he's a very complicated person too.
Yes.
There's some life choices that he did that I don't agree with, but yeah. But
Yeah.
Zatanna, I think Sampan likes Zatanna too, but Joe really likes Zatanna. I like Zatanna too. I mean, I ain't gonna lie.
It's the fishnet stockings with Joe.
I think it does it every time with the
Does it
little
every time. Does it every
top
time.
hat on, yeah, and the long legs, yeah. You collect anything else besides comics?
I do collect retro video games.
Oh, I do
I
too.
collect vinyls. I do Blu-rays, 4K, 4K Blu-rays. Yeah. What else do I collect? I tried collecting pops and figures. I'm just like, I don't have space for them.
Oh yeah, I have some statues. I have some of the McFarlane Marvel statues, but I've already ran out of room. I don't think I can get any more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's a. I see some of these guys like I remember. I mean, if I had like the space and the money,
Hmm.
yeah. But like you see Jim Mint will have those like is it a sideshow? Like those
Yeah,
things
the
are
sideshow
expensive, man.
figures.
I can't. That's a little bit out of my wheelhouse. Like it was like I bought the Wolverine statue and the Hulk 345 and the Hulk 340 statue that McFarlane did, and I paid like $90 for both, like pre-order.
Oh wow.
And I was like, But I agonize about that because that's a lot of money to me. Like that's about the limit where I could spend on. Like I'm gonna get the statue, but that's just me.
Yeah.
We talk about collecting movies. Well, what are some of your favorite movies and music since you
Oh,
collect? I like everything, you know, as far as
here we
music.
go. Let me give you how can I do this? Favorite music will be favorite band. I'll do favorite band. Favorite band, Iron Maiden. Favorite song by Iron Maiden is Number of the Beast, Fear of the Dark.
Trooper.
Of course, Trooper. I can listen to Trooper. Iron Maiden, of course. Running Free. Favorite movies. The Lost Boys, The Thing, Aliens. What else? Monster Squad.
Yeah.
You know,
It sounds like we grew up watching the same things because I would
pretty much.
everything you just say. The Aliens, I like it better than Alien.
I do too.
It's just got like a more going on. I remember the first time I watched Predator, and I knew it was a good movie when my dad, he watches westerns and stuff. He was into it. He was in the Army, so it was like he was in the National Guard and he was in the Marines, and he was in Vietnam. So I think he kind of like, I don't know, it kind of reminded him, I think, of that a little bit too. They're in the jungle, but you got this survival kind of element to it, so it appealed to other people that maybe wouldn't like sci-fi. They're like, well, what is this thing hunting them? And I just like the or quote, like if somebody says, if I'm around somebody, they go, "Did you hear that?" I always go over and I act like Billy and Predator. Go, there's something out there, but it ain't no man.
My last big concert I went to was in 2006 or 2007. It was in Madison Square Garden. It was Iron Maiden, and I was within spitting distance of Bruce Dickinson for the concert.
Oh, cool.
It was amazing. It was great. Favorite musicals, because I love musicals. I'm a musical guy. Yankee Doodle Dandy, Grease, Saturday Night Fever, and Mary Poppins. And Western, I love Western. So my favorite Western is Shane, Red River, and Tombstone. Those are my three favorite Westerns. I like a variety, a lot of things. So
I do too. I guess my favorite Westerns would be like Tombstone, The Outlaw Josie Wells, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and probably The Searchers of John Wayne.
Yeah.
It's because John Ford's cinematography is just, there's a scene where he opens the door to that cabin and the camera does this slow pan outside of the door and he moves aside and you see Monument Valley in Utah. It's just like an amazing shot. I'm not the biggest John Wayne fan. I think Clint Eastwood, I like Clint Eastwood. There's a lot of things about John Wayne I don't like. My dad don't like John Wayne. I'll just be honest. He don't. With Clint Eastwood, me and my dad would watch like Every Which Way But Loose and The Unforgiven. You know, all that stuff. My dad was just big into The Gauntlet, anything Clint Eastwood, Dirty Harry. Yeah. Even Play Misty for Me. That's a crazy. If anybody's ever seen Play Misty for Me, he's a DJ and this band is obsessed with him. Played by I think his ex-wife. And it's great. But she was in a lot of his movies. Sandra Locke. I think he was married to her. Yeah. And
let me see. Oh my God, I'm just going to go through all the genres. My favorite gangster movie will always be Angels with Dirty Faces with James Cagney.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
And my favorite guess cop movie would be Serpico. Love that movie. I love that movie. So.
I'm trying to think of what cop movie I would. Serpico is a good movie.
Serpico.
And that's based on a true story. It's based on a true story. One of my favorite gangster movies is not as old as some of them. The ones you would imagine I would pick, but King of New York, or not King of New York with Christopher Walken.
I love King of New York. That's such a good movie.
There's like, and like Walken plays such a good evil character. like there's a scene where they catch the guy that ratted him out to the police. He said, I did it for the money, Frank. He says, did you find his money? And the guy said, yeah, he was running around. We found it on him, Frank. He's like, well, bury him with his damn money. You know, or like the scene in Goodfellas, like the whole thing in Goodfellas, like when I don't know, I'm a fan of good directing. Like when Scorsese has that shot,
Yeah.
Henry and his girlfriend go in and I can't remember her name, Falco, Edie Falco. Is it? No, not Edie Falco. It's never mind. But he takes her in there the first date they go on, and they go through the restaurant in the Copacabana, and they follow him in. It's got this big tracking shot, you know. You watch King of New York, Aaron? Yeah, it's a good movie. But I was trying to think of another one though. What's the one with that Denzel Washington plays Frank White in? I like that movie.
Crap.
American Gangster.
American Gangster. Yes.
It's just a great cast all the way around, you know. And if I want to go any older, like Scarface, the original Scarface, not
Yes.
not the Pacino one. Although I like the Pacino one, but the first one was like,
yeah, a lot of people don't realize that Pacino Scarface is a remake.
yeah. And I don't know. I heard some people don't like the Cubans don't like that he did a impersonation of him nowadays. Some of them don't.
Yeah.
But you know, he's a good actor. I thought he did a good job, but that movie just got so overplayed to me though, because all the rappers listen to it or what they're talking about that movie. You've heard so much about it. It's a good movie though. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I could go on about movies all day, but is there any questions from the chat? Would you like have for Bruce? Because I'm about out of questions now. I think we did pretty good. So
yeah, pretty good actually. You know, if anybody want anything in the chat, want to know anything, while we're waiting for that, I do collect the most. I've been trying to find DC Universe variants, which are on the back of my wall, top row. I collect those. You know, some people collect skull covers. I collect DC variants.
well, some of them are pretty pricey.
Yep. Yeah, and some of them are very scarce. Can't find them anywhere.
Okay, we got a question here from Sandman Mystery Comics. Bruce, what comic gives you the most sentimental feelings? Doesn't have to be an expensive one, I think is what he said.
It probably would be the Green. I have a run of Green Lanterns from probably my first appearance of Kyle Rayner. That Green Lantern run, you know, from 40 Green Lantern 48 through 50, whatever. Because my dad bought me those. You know, so he's probably was like the last time he bought me comic books. So that's that run of Emerald. I forgot what it's called. When Kyle Rayner's introduced and he becomes the main Green Lantern, that little run is, Green Lantern 49. Yes.
So that's kind of one that sticks out in your mind like right away, you know.
Yeah.
I have a couple like that.
You know, they're a little beat up in storage, but I still have them. I will never get to give them away or throw them away or whatever.
I unfortunately lost some of mine like that. But I went back and bought them. Like I got ASM 320 through 325 or 326, and it's like the assassination plot. And it was when Todd McFarlane, he'd been on there for a while, and I don't know. It's one of the first comics I bought were those comics off the newsstand. That and the other one, I was like G.I. Joe 45 through 48. There's a storyline where Ripcord goes on Cobra Island without permission, and Zartan, it's like a mano a mano out in the forest, you know, hunting each other, and Zartan gets the best of him and knocks him out and takes his identity because he's like the master of disguise and infiltrates G.I. Joe headquarters. He gets taken back there in issue 48. They have this whole rescue mission to get him off the island, and they find out it's not Ripcord. And then at the end of it, Sergeant Slaughter, spoiler alert, I don't know, it's been a while since it came out. So sorry.
Spoiler alert.
The first appearance of Sergeant Slaughter, he's the one that catches him. So I just love G.I. Joe. I know the cartoon was just a big commercial.
Yes.
But I don't care. Is there any other questions? We got some more time. I usually let it go like an hour, so we had about 5 minutes left, and I'll let the chat. If not, we can just talk about what do you got going on.
Oh,
yeah, I got that one, Joe.
I did do a reaction to the Fantastic Four trailer today, which teaser. I thought it gave us enough. I know a lot of people are complaining about the CGI for the thing, and I'm not the biggest Fantastic Four fan. I didn't like the costume on Ben Grimm. I would prefer him in his little Speedos. I don't know, it just looks weird with him with a full costume on for me.
Yeah.
Well, see, for the rest of it, for the rest of the teaser trailer, it looked pretty good actually. The only thing I worry about is the CGI for Mr. Fantastic's powers. How's that going to look?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about. I hear all this. Well, let's not get into that one. We talked about that before, but it seems like just because somebody thinks a movie has reshoots, that's
every movie has reshoots. Every movie has reshoots.
If not reshoots, they have ADR, where they go back there and re-record stuff they couldn't pick up when they were on location.
Yep.
And
I think they call those pickup shots.
Yeah, the Superman movie I'm really excited about. And these people talk about Superman being cockeyed for half a second on screen. It's not going to stop me from watching this movie.
Oh, let me freeze frame a moving object and pick the worst possible angle for that. Like, really? Come on.
And diagnose it like I'm watching the Zapruder film.
Oh my God. And if one more person becomes an expert on gradients in movies, I'm done. Everybody's an expert on gradients.
Joe is exactly. Yes, Joe. I 100% agree with what Joe's saying there. We're just going to, because, hey, look, I've talked this many times. When you're mine and Bruce's age, if you're about our age, you had to look for scraps to see televised or movies with Marvel or DC characters in it that didn't suck. We had Batman and Superman, but they didn't really do anything else. I mean, then in the 90s was horrible. Or we had to suffer through movies like Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, the 1990 Captain America movie.
Oh, and those bad Punisher
he had fake ears on his head, man. In the Captain America, I mean, I don't know. I just can't. And then
and how many bad movies we went to go see as kids? We got dragged to see bad movies. We suffered through it, bad CG, but we lived through it, and now we could get to see Marvel and DC.
I would have never thought. Look, when I saw the First Avengers movie, and I've said this till I'm beating a dead horse at this point. But when they're in New York fighting Loki and those aliens off, and they have that shot where they pan around and all the Avengers are sitting there back to back fighting in Manhattan, I was just I had goosebumps because I thought I would never see that kind of thing or those many superheroes in a movie because until movies like Jurassic Park, it wasn't even possible to even think about doing anything like that in the movie.
Yeah. It
would have been all matte paintings and they'd have had little claymation in remember the Clash of the Titans 1980. Was it 1981 or something? And they got all the stop motion Harryhausen monsters. That's the kind of monsters you would have got if they'd done that movie in the 80s or 70s.
Yeah. Sinbad. I love those old Sinbad movies and Greek mythology movies. That was me. And don't worry, Sandman. You're not the only one. I enjoyed the Flash movie. I enjoyed Black Adam.
I still haven't watched them. But I enjoyed all movies. Like, everybody was like Batman versus Superman,
Mhm.
Dawn of Justice, and like it got just destroyed. But if you watch, and I talk about this with Legion of Comics, if you watch the director's cut of that movie, it makes way more sense.
Yeah.
You get because when they cut it, I don't know who edited that movie. They edited it down like that, but you don't even understand how Lex Luthor pulled all that off. How he found out who they are, how he's pitting them against them. You don't really get any of the explanation for that until like when you watch the director's cut, you realize, oh, Lex Luthor's going crazy. He's insane.
Yeah.
And then Affleck, there's like a callback in that show to several things that Frank Miller wrote or in that movie. You got the mech suit, him and Superman fighting each other, the kryptonite, and the part where he goes in that warehouse. And I'll say this to anybody, and they can get mad if they want. But that right there showed that Ben Affleck could play Batman when he beats those guys up there where everybody, well, Batman don't kill. I said, well, I hate to tell you this, Batman has killed people before.
He has killed. He carried a gun. He carried a gun in the 80s, guys. Carried a gun.
Yes, and then when Dark Knight Returns, remember that scene's in the movie where he's like, I'll kill him. I'll kill him. He's like, hey, I know you will. And he shoots him. So it's basically the same. Although I wish they hadn't used that. I don't know about. I'll ask you this. Here's another question I'll ask you. Do you hate it though when these movies like will use up little parts out of one comic story and then just throw the rest away? And you're like, well, why didn't you make a whole movie about that?
I'm a little conflicted with that because I've already read the stories. I would like to see new stories on the big screen. If you're gonna do a story from the comics, do it right. Court of God Butcher, cough, cough.
Yeah.
That was such a bad representation.
The only really highlight of that movie is him fighting aliens to Welcome to the Jungle. That's about the only.
Yeah. And Natalie Portman. I enjoy Natalie Portman as Thor.
I did too. I ain't gonna lie. That part of the aspect was great, but they should have just made it about either that or the God Butcher.
Yeah,
they should.
I don't know. I don't know how that movie didn't take more heat for having jokes about cancer. But
yeah, I forgot about that. You're right. It's a bit rough.
I was very surprised it didn't get more heat. But I don't know. Just see, Go to God Butcher, cancer storyline. How did that? I don't know.
At least we had Ragnarok again. It was all right. I got to see Hulk as a gladiator. Although I wish it could have been World War Hulk, but I don't know. But I don't know. Well, guys, if there's no more questions, I guess we'll just end it here. I'll let my guest go last on telling what's going on his channel, but I'll show you what's going on mine first. It's okay. Tomorrow night I have a claim sale, so I don't have the. I guess I don't have the graphic for that one, but I am having a claim sale tomorrow. So, nice. And as always, this show.
And you just got 26 short boxes of comics, correct?
Yeah,
26.
Yep. I had a little accident. They collapsed yesterday. The boxes did, but it didn't hurt anything.
Oh, good.
So, it was a close one. Just put that way. But anyway, Sunday at 6 p.m., I always have the Sunday Super Show Extravaganza. I thought I'd get use J. Scott Campbell magic for the thumbnail, nice. But I think I'm going to change it because we're probably going to be breaking down the Fantastic Four trailer on that episode Sunday as well. And then nice. I have the what else we got? Oh yeah, this show will be coming out. I hope this week or next week. I know I've been saying it, but Matt and Joe's Bad Cinema will have its premiere episode coming, and it'll be we'll be doing this movie right here. Hard Ticket to Hawaii, the 80s classic. It's got everything you need. It's got big busty ex-playmates, a bunch of buff dudes that don't know how to fire a machine gun. It's pretty apparent when you see them. Got a skateboard and ninja assassin. Yeah, who's he got a blow up doll with him. It's really interesting. We got a big giant rubber snake. It's an interesting propositions, all I'll say. But I don't have any, I guess, other. Oh yeah, and I have a 300 subscriber giveaway coming up.
Nice.
I'll grab the 300 subscriber giveaway and show everybody. I may even throw in something extra. You never know, right?
Nice.
We got, no, that's not it. You can't have that one. Sorry. Black Canary, Best of the Best, #1, David Nakayama variant. Mandalorian #6. I think it's a Jang, not Jang. I think it is a Jang variant. No, lyrics. You got this one. This is Hulk 6. This is the first appearance of this guy.
I forgot the name of that character.
And little Alex Ross Timeless Collector. And Star Wars Yoda #3. And I don't have it near me, but issue #1 of the new West Coast Avengers.
Nice.
So that's coming up. And Bruce, what do you got coming up?
I have, what's today? Tuesday? Friday, you can find me on Renovision, The Qualified, at 9:20ish p.m. Eastern time. And then Sunday, I have the other comic book show where we go over the flaming hot covers of the week. Well, new comic book day, go over some market sales, FOC, and then Monday's usually Monday Madness, where we talk about rumors, movies, anything to do with pop culture going on. And that's pretty much it.
Okay. Well, thanks for being my guest. I've had a lot of fun.
No problem.
Hope to
Anytime.
have you back on the channel sometime soon.
Sure.
And some other capacity. So until next time, true believers out there, Excelsior.